Here's what I learned from paying $300 for a 30-minute YouTube consultation. Here's why I think you should do that also. So a lot of people be like, oh my gosh, $300 is way too much money to be spending on a 30-minute consultation. That's crazy. But here's what happens. When someone knows knowledge that you don't have, when someone has knowledge that you don't have, you're willing to pay this money to get to your goals faster. So I am trying to I have a second YouTube channel, and I wanted to know what this person that has like 550,000 subscribers knows, and I wanted to get to the bottom faster. So instead of wasting my time for a year trying to learn what he's already learned over the 10 years, I wanted to figure out something really fast. So I paid the $300. Well, it didn't exactly get me it didn't get me what I wanted. I didn't get the information that I wanted. The person didn't ask me the right questions to get the information out of me. They kind of just assumed I wanted more views. I don't want more views. I wanted to learn a business model more so. Here's what happened. Here's why it was so useful for me to pay. But it was not a waste of money. Even though I didn't get the answers that I wanted, it wasn't a waste. I finally got the answers that I wanted, but not the way that you would think that I would. It wasn't in the consultation. So what I did was immediately, the next person who contacted me for personal training, I offered them in-home personal training for $250 a session. So I raised my rate to $250 a session, and they said yes, no problem. Okay, so since I paid $300 for a 30-minute consultation, that made me raise my rate. I just raised my rate. I'll pay $300 for a half hour. Why am I not worth the same amount of money? Which leads me to, you will raise your rate when you pay. You spend money on services, and then you will charge more for your own service. It raises your value because all of a sudden I'm the person that's going to pay $300 for a service, so I should be charging more for my services. Correct? Correct. Okay. So charging $250 a session to go to someone's place and train them, right? So the next thing was I raised my rates. And then what I also learned from the consultation, which was priceless, was that I know just as much as this other person knows in my own niche. So in my, Mustang and automotive news niche, I know more than they do. They wanted me to kind of jump niches, but they weren't wrong. But what they failed to explain to me was that I don't need to completely jump niche. I just need to include 1 out of 10 videos a little differently and see how it works because my niche is still growing. So anyways, the point of that was that you get information, and to know, the point of it is that you figure out what you already know and you figure out what you don't know. That's the point of it. So it gave me even more confidence to stand in there with this person and say, oh, I know as much as they do. They're charging $300 for a half hour. I know as much as they do on a lot of things. So that increases your confidence. That's worth $300. To increase your confidence instantaneously, obviously it's worth $300. I raised my rates. I feel more confident in my videos. I feel more confident training people, a lot of things, okay? So this is why it's important to spend money sometimes. I'm into FIRE, financial independence, and frugal living, but this is something that you can learn. So the next thing I learned is that I went to my client who I personal trained. They're still in Los Angeles, and I moved back to where I'm from originally 10 years ago, and I'm training them virtually. But they are a VP at at about a $70 billion company. And I told them that I'd paid $300 for a half hour consultation. I kind of told them what was going on with that. And then they asked me, I said, well, what do you think about strategy? Because I'm thinking business strategy. She said, well, here's what I do with mine. Here's what I do with my clients. I essentially we have 4 buckets. One of the bucket is star. The next bucket is dog. The next bucket is cow. And the next bucket is seed. So there's 4 buckets. The seed bucket is like possible ideas of new things that could be trending in the future that aren't currently trending. That's only 10%. So let's say 1 out of 10 videos, I will do a seed. The next bucket is cow. That's 40%. So 4 out of 10 videos, you would do cow. These are cash cows. These are things that work. So like if you're into fashion, a black t-shirt is a cow. Black t-shirts will always be popular. For men, you just throw on a black t-shirt and a pair of jeans and it looks good. It's fine. It's not overly fashionable, but it always works. Okay, that's cash. They'll always sell those. The next thing, that's 4 out of 10 videos, 40%. The next thing is a star. That's another 40%. So 4 out of 10 videos should also be stars, which means the seed, which you tested it and 1 out of 10 and it did really, really good, that now goes into star. And that might only last 1 season, 6 to 12 months. It might do really, really good for a little bit, but it may go to the dog category, which is a dead dog, 10%. May not work. Okay, sometimes your cows end up into the dogs, sometimes your stars end up into the dogs, but they all start in the seed. They go up to the dog category. They may stick around for 5, 10, 30 years. Some of them only last a year in the star category. And then eventually most of them end up in the dog category, 10%. So that's what I learned from paying $300 for a half-hour consultation. I boosted my confidence. I learned that I can charge, double my rate. And I also learned that a business strategy for a multi-million-dollar company, a multi-billion-dollar company, just by doing this. So, that's my experience, and I think that you should pay for services to learn from consulting services, to learn from experts, because that can raise awareness to yourself and your industry. And that's what I learned, and I just wanted to share those 4 categories with you, because that's important. You can use that for your business strategy. It's a well-known business strategy. You can look it up on the internet and figure out the name of it. But it's been around for a long time. But that is tried and true, and that's what works, and that's what I'm going to use. It helps if you're running a business, it helps for you to understand that that's a good strategy. So hopefully that helps you. So that would mean if you're a YouTube creator, you can use that strategy for YouTube. If you're a fashion designer, you can use that for fashion. You can use that strategy for a lot of different things. So I just wanted to share that for you and to you. And if you're a personal trainer and you'd like to learn more about how to grow your training business or your YouTube business, you can leave a comment or subscribe, and make sure you guys turn on the bell notifications if you'd like to learn more about free things that I learned through my business and my YouTube, my personal training, 6-figure personal training business, and my YouTube business. So be sure to comment, and thanks for watching.